Hello, my marvellous sausages. Something strange is happening with me and this current iteration of Destiny 2, because when I first started playing the new expansion, I got stressed because it seemed that the whole game had been thrown in the black and white world portal bin here, because there's just nothing here at all. And I thought, oh no, they're turning their toes up, curling their toes, and that's it. This is the beginning of the end, I thought. Now, I did like the new expansion. I enjoyed Kepler, I enjoyed the missions on there, but I haven't been playing it that much because, of course, we've got this power grind that everybody is maligning. And I don't blame them. If you don't particularly feel like a power grind, then this is not going to be the place for you, because it would seem that this is the way forward for Destiny now. But what I've been absolutely amazed at, right? This is ridiculous. I didn't play it that much last year. I looked at my Destiny heat map, and it's kind of very, very hardly anything. I played most in Echoes, played hardly anything in Revenant, and I played a little bit more in Heresy, but I was never engaged. The weekly story never really brought me back. It felt like far too small increments to keep the momentum going that you kind of got when you play something like Final Shape. It's impossible for them to do Final Shape 12 months of the year. It's impossible. There's just not enough money. And I mean, they'd probably make a shed loads of money if they did it, but they'd have to have, I don't know, a company with about 200,000 people working in it constantly. So that's not going to happen. So they've changed it completely. And I'm totally surprised. I'm playing more now than I've played for years. Well, at least, well, before Final Shape even as well. Because some of the seasons just didn't get me at all. And I'm playing loads and loads and loads. And I've come to realise that I really like this power grind. I'm going to get flayed alive for saying that. Make number go bigger. That's exactly what I said in one of my previous videos. And that's what it's all about. But it's been like 4 weeks now. And I'm playing it, and playing it, and playing it. But... and this is a big but. It's not because I just felt like going, oh, I've got to go. I've got to go up to level. And let me look at my Guardian here. I'm level 309, which I'm just as surprised as you at. But I've got to just keep on putting that number up, and it felt like so slow and so dribbly and so incredibly annoying. And then, of course, you've got this other aspect of it. You've got your view rank progress here, and you've got your Guardian ranks. And I thought, oh my god, I was on 3 for ages, I think, or 4, I can't remember. I just couldn't be bothered, because we've been conditioned to feel that Guardian ranks are pointless. Totally pointless, that they've had no actual function in the game other than having a thing floating above your head which kind of says, ooh, I've done a raid. Do you know what I mean? Or, ooh, I've done this, or ooh, I've done that. Because they were locked out of going any higher because you had to do raids and stuff. Well... first of all, what they've done now is completely tie this Guardian rank stuff into the power grind. And the way they've done that is that, like, for example, with my number 7 here, I had to get up 300 power. And I thought, right, okay, I couldn't really be that arsed. But then in Arms Week, they basically said, you need to be Guardian rank 7 and 300 power to have a chance at some higher drops. And I thought, oh, okay, I'll do that for next time then. Do you know what I mean? I'll just do a few things and I'll get the level up. No rush at all. There was nothing particularly that I wanted in Arms Week, because it was all hand cannons. I'm not a massive hand cannon fan. So I kind of did a little bit, and I got a few of the rewards and stuff, and I thought, there we are, great. And then, to my utter amazement, Solstice launched this week. I couldn't be arsed with Solstice last year. I found it very boring. I didn't like the bonfire bash thing. I just done it for so many years. I wasn't... it even deprogrammed me to be interested in getting the armor or anything like that. It was just... it seemed to be a completely superfluous, laborious thing. Because there was... the weapons I weren't that interested in. I wasn't that interested in. It was just, you know, something you just did if you wanted to. So I didn't bother with it at all. And then this year, when Solstice launched, and I said, there's no more bonfire bash and all that, my instant reaction was, oh no, it's going to be rubbish, and it's going to be, it's not going to have its own thing. And I think people felt that. I think there was a lot of people being cheesed off with it out there. But what they've done is basically tie in modifiers, first of all. Okay, so this is the first thing that they've done. They've tied in modifiers. which are a good laugh to do if you launch a solo ops. Like I'm doing Skywatch at the moment, and then you go in and you customize. You've got these cool little Solstice specific modifiers, which do really cool things with massive explosions and loads of solar flares and scorch and all that kind of stuff. So that made it very interesting. I thought, well, that might make it a bit more fun to play. But then here came the killer detail, right? It started dropping +1 tiers to what you were earning, basically. I was on Guardian rank 6, and I thought, right, in order for me to get to Guardian rank 7, because that would unlock the tier 4 rewards, I've got to get 300 power, and I've got to get the Guardian rank 7. So I just started grinding, and grinding, and grinding, and then once I got... It gave me a place to go, so I had something that I wanted to do. I didn't mind. It's weird. I didn't mind rerunning the same activity again and again. How weird is that? Because I've been so bored of it. But what's happened is it's been like arcadeified. Do you know what I mean? There's been an arcadeification, new word, of Destiny. Think back to whenever you used to play in the arcades if you're an old fart like me, and basically, number go up. In other words, a higher score and a higher score is what people hunted for, and that was kind of the impetus to play any particular game, really. You know what I mean? I think, though, once it developed, I'm going to go off on a tangent now, once it developed to, like, Final Fight Double Dragon, I couldn't give a monkeys about score. I was more interested about what happened in the game and scrapping with the enemies and stuff. But what we've got here is an amalgamation of those two kind of processes. So you've got the make number go bigger in regard to your score, aka your power level, and then of course I actually found myself trying to run it as fast as I could, or changing up my Guardian's build. So I started using solar a lot more, because you should do really with Solstice, and I started really enjoying the runs. I don't know what was going on with me. I did it for 4 hours straight, and then I broke the 300 barrier, and then I got the level 7. So what they've done is they've tied Guardian ranks and level progression together, first of all, and then when they bring in a time-sensitive event, like Solstice in this case, they sprinkle in some really nice-looking weapons, particularly that stranded grenade launcher, and then what they do is that they sprinkle in an extra +1 bonus on the tiers, and that makes you really want to grind it out. I didn't want to grind Solstice at all before. I was totally can't be arsed. So this to me looks like the basis of what they're doing going forward. Solstice is only 2 weeks long now, which is much better than... Was it a longer? Was it 4 weeks? I can't even remember because I didn't bloody play it. Plus, here's something else they've done with Solstice. If you go into the portal and have a look at the Solstice, which you probably have done if you're watching this to any degree, you've probably been playing Solstice quite a bit, we've got the event rank track. Now, before, do you remember we had those rubbish, those event pass things with 4 rewards on them, which might have been a sparrow, a ghost, an emote, or so, and that was it. Now, this is completely free. You've just got to play the actual thing. And we've got some nice rewards in there. We've got projections. We've got transmat effects. We've got another emblem. We've got a ghost. We've got these brilliant holofoil weapons, which also have that really cool look to them. And for me, because I've been running as well, this helps you in your power grind, because you can pull them out, look, at 313, that one, when I get to it, or whatever mine's going to be. This is really helpful. We've got a sparrow in there. It's absolutely nuts. I couldn't believe it. We got a ship in there, so everything is now free. And it wasn't before. You had to pay for it. I understand you can buy an event rank if you want to with silver, but I don't want to do that. Why do myself out of playing a game? So, and then we've even got like a shader there at the end as well. Oh, it's horrendous. But that doesn't matter. It's there. So this is a massive, massive step up in every single way. It's giving you stuff that's great to use. It's encouraging you to do the power grind. It's encouraging you to go up your Guardian rank. And then it's also giving you lots of extra goodies as well. So I was absolutely stunned. So what's coming next? Because, you see, this is the problem at the moment as it stands. I like to solo play quite a lot. In fact, it's one of my favourite things to do. I like to solo everything. However, there's not enough stuff to do. There's just not enough stuff to do. Look, we've got 6 things there. And there's not enough stuff to do there. Okay, that needs to be 3 times the size, really, with lots of different missions in it. The fire team needs to be match made for most of it, apart from the bottom row. It's only match made for the top 3, really. I know you can pick your own what you want to do. Pinnacle, they need more missions in there. They need some more aspects of... They maybe need more exotic missions entirely. And they also need... I think they said they actually might possibly have different dungeon encounters featuring as a mission maybe in the Pinnacle. I don't know. And then you've got the Crucible, which I've been having a right laugh at. I've been playing the Solstice Scorch and it was ridiculous. I'm actually really enjoying myself. I really enjoyed Trials the other day. Even though, I must admit, the rewards were rubbish when I got to there. I finally got to the lighthouse, and I got nothing for it. It was absolute arse, so that needs to be sorted out. So, this is going to be the way forward. So what's going to come next with Ash and Iron? Are we going to start having loads more stuff added into the solo playlist? And what this has done as well is boosted the speed at which you... go up the ranks, at which your light level gets better, and getting those elusive tier 5s, because now in Solstice, they've basically said there was a tweet. Let me read the tweet to you. Listen to this. Look here. It says, join us in celebrating the Solstice. All Solstice gear drops a +1 gear tier during Solstice. Be on the lookout for the rare holofoil weapons, which will drop at +2 gear tier alongside a piece of armor at the same tier, and this is running from August the 5th until August the 19th. So loads of people thought this was a bug, because this kind of enjoyment usually is them going, this is a bug, sorry, but you can have it for a little bit longer. But it's not. They planned this. Now, whether or not this is in response to the reception of how the power grind's been actually played out since Edge of Fate has dropped, is one thing. I don't know. Didn't you think they were really tight-lipped after Edge of Fate? They didn't really respond to anything beyond fixing glitches and bugs. They weren't talking about the overall economy very much. Maybe the power grind level thing, they couldn't ignore that. Sorry, the power level, or the power delta, which is just how difficult it is to do things. They've readjusted that so it's not as hard. I think they had to act at some point after that raid race because there was a lot of, this is rubbish! It's too hard! Comments after the raid race. So I think they had to do something like that. But I think this is intended. I think this has always been intended, and I think this is what the events are going to give us. And we've got this Ash and Iron update now, which is kind of like it's not midway even really, is it? But it's going to be, the Plague Lands is going to be reintroduced in some form. We don't know how. I doubt it's going to, if it's a huge new patrol zone, I'll be absolutely amazed and my gob will drop on the floor. I don't think so. I think there'll be missions in there more than anything else. So we'll have to see though. I don't know. But that's my expectation. It's not going to be this big new patrol zone. It would be great if it was. And that's exactly what they need to do. But they also then need to tie in the progressions. Because remember, when Ash and Iron comes along, it's going to go up to 500 and then 550 for the top pinnacle one. So the grind will continue. But I think it's going to be a lot quicker, because they're going to be using this new method of incentivizing people. So are they pulling a bit of a blinder here? A bit of a genius move? Because I'm enjoying the grind. I'm enjoying getting my power level up. I'm enjoying getting my level 4s, my tier 4s coming in. Look, I've got 1, 2, 3, I've got 4 tier 4s of those. I got tier 4 boots there. I haven't had anything of that. I got 2 tier 4 gloves. I've got 4 tier 4 helmets. I've had a tier 4 Yurtide Apex there. I think that's all I've had in that regard, but I'm just delighted with it. And don't forget as well, when you do want to do this, I made this really stupid mistake. If you're playing solo, or whatever you're playing actually, make sure you look for that distorted Solstice engram there. Because that means then you're going to get some of that Solstice loot, which drops +1 higher than your current level, which is why I'm getting +4. But there's also a chance of +5 when you get a holofoil. But this changes daily, so just beware of that. And also you can get them on the Fireteam one as well. Look, distorted Solstice engram there, but it's not... Oh no, it's on the top 3. Look, it's on all the match-made ones, which is quite nice, actually. I might actually start grinding them as well. Pinnacles, look, it's only on one of them. It's on the Whisper mission at the moment. And then also Crucible. Look, the Solstice Scorch was having shed loads of rewards, but that's got the distorted Solstice engram. That's the only one to have it. Remember, you've got to complete your bonus objectives for that to drop, which means you've got to do it in the time, and you've got to get that bonus objectives, whether or not it's ability kills or just killing gits with your weapons or precision kills or whatever. So the reason why I'm making this video is that I think they might be on the right track. I think they might be on the right track. Something fundamental has changed. I was worried it was going to be very soulless. But it's just changed completely now. And what we've got is an entirely new system, and what we're experiencing, and I've said this on stream so many times, is the basis of that new system, so it is quite thin on the ground. Now, of course, you can argue that you're going to get loads of reused, that's the word, reused content in this, and you are. But we're also going to be getting different versions of that reused content, and we're going to be getting new stuff in the drops as well, or at least I hope we are. Ash and Iron will go some way to building upon this, I think, and add more stuff, which I think people will be excited to play because we're going to have a new activity as well. Then we've got a little bit of a lull, haven't we? September through to the beginning of December, so that's October, November. Now, if they've only got Festival of the Lost in the middle of that, we might have a problem. Because I think Festival of the Lost is going to follow exactly the same format as Solstice, and I think it's going to be great fun to do, and it's going to be great for your power grind. But then, you've got the massive turd in the water pipe, which is everybody being reset to 200 when Renegades comes along, and that's not going to make people very happy at all. So maybe that might be something that they shift on. Let's hope so, but how can they do it? Because I'm playing now for power grind. So what they're going to do then is put it up to 1,000 or 800 rather than resetting you to 200. Do you know what I mean? And then you get back into the old loop again. It's an age-old problem that I don't really know how to solve. They did try and solve it before by making power less important, but then it's weird. I kind of lost interest in playing it beyond the story because the story was so drip-fed that for me, a story has to have momentum, and there's no momentum in an extra line of dialogue once a week, and every couple of weeks you have a cutscene. And they couldn't maintain the output either because it was just too much work to do. So that definitely isn't working, and they have said in interviews that the drip feed thing is completely finished. It's totally finished. That's not happening again, and I'm glad about that because I want to see what's happening next. Plus, there's something else that's occurred. Game Post has an article by Zuhad Ali, and, well, it's an eye-opener. Sony confirms Bungie is becoming part of PlayStation Studios. This independence is getting lighter. So, this is the beginning of the end of Bungie as it is. And it's going forward to be completely integrated into PlayStation Studios. Of course, the Bungie name will continue. Because they want to label it as. But let's have a quick read of this, right? Because this is interesting. Sony has confirmed Bungie is slowly being folded into PlayStation Studios 2 years after the 3.6 billion acquisition. Phew. 2 years after Sony acquired Bungie in a 3.6 billion deal, the Destiny 2 developer is slowly losing the independence it was originally promised. The deal, which closed in mid-2022, was supposed to let Bungie operate as an independent subsidiary under Sony's umbrella, but after missed revenue targets, internal struggles, multiple rounds of layoffs, Bungie's role within the PlayStation ecosystem is changing dramatically. So it must have been that they had some kind of clauses in the contracts that were negotiated that if it didn't hit certain targets, they could restructure it at will. And this is basically what's going on, or at least that's what it seems to be. Over the past year and a half, several key departments of Bungie have been moved under Sony. This includes teams handling marketing, publishing, HR, legal, IT, production, and most recently, strategic partnerships. Even Bungie's creative studios and leadership figures, like former CTO Louis Villegas, have transitioned into senior roles at PlayStation. Now, Sony now says Bungie is becoming part of PlayStation Studios. The latest update comes straight from Sony itself during the company's Q1 financial doodahs earning call today. The newly appointed Chief Financial Officer Lin Tao addressed Bungie's status and confirmed that its autonomy is slowly fading. About the governance of Bungie, at the time of acquisition, we were offering a very independent environment, so that was one way of thinking, Tao explained. However, we have gone through structural reform, as we announced last year, so this independence is getting lighter, and Bungie is shifting into a role which is becoming more part of PlayStation Studios, and integration is proceeding. In the long term, you can see this as an ongoing process, so the direction is to become part of PlayStation Studios. So they're going to be basically taking out all the decisions about Destiny's future. And so I think this is much better for Destiny's future. In simple terms, the article goes on, that means Bungie isn't operating fully on its own anymore. Bit by bit, the studio is being folded into the larger PlayStation organisation. just like Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studios or Guerrilla. While no specific timeline was given, Sony clearly sees Bungie as part of its long-term plans for first-party development, especially around live service projects. Carries on by saying Bungie has had a rough stretch recently, and reports suggest the studio has around 1,600 employees before its October 2023 and 2024 layoffs. After the 2 major rounds of cuts and transitions into Sony, it's believed that there will only be about 850 employees remain. And we all know as well, Destiny's latest expansion, the Edge of Fate's pre-orders are reportedly down 50% compared to the final shape. Whether that's expected or not, it ain't good, is it? And this follows a continued drop in player engagement and interest, adding further pressure on Bungie as it works through internal restructuring and full integration into the PlayStation studios. So you could actually argue that this is bad for independent game making because they're all going to become under the Sony umbrella. In a lot of ways, the way when Disney started buying stuff up, you know, it kind of all got a bit homogenized and it kind of lost its individuality. But I think Bungie might be an exception in this case because people aren't happy with the way it was being run. That's what was the problem, was the way it was being run and the direction the game was taking and all the bad news that came out of it. So this could be new life for Destiny 3. Sorry. No, well, Destiny 3 could well be on the cards now. In fact, it's going to be. Sony are going to be going, yes, we want Destiny 3. So they're going to be using their resources to build these up, and maybe it'll become quicker than we think. Marathon will be kept going, but of course then they're going to have all the resources of Bungie now, not Bungie, Sony being folded into it. So that's going to have a stronger chance of doing, well, at least having a fighting chance, you know, because at the moment there's a lot of negative sentiment towards that game too. So there we go. That was my thought. I've been wanting to make a little video like this, talking about what's happening. I'm enjoying the basis of this. There's things they do need to do to make it better, but I think they're actually on the right trajectory. Not everybody is going to agree with me. I understand that entirely. So let me know your brains in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think. Yeah, keep it nice as well, right? For God's sake. It's a public forum here. Anyway, there we go. I just wanted to bring those few things to your attention and my thought processes on how this is all going in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to carry on playing. I'm enjoying it, and I'm really looking forward to Ash and Iron as well, and I'm hoping to get a few tier 5 drops too. Look, it's working. Something's wrong here. Something wrong with me. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you all again very soon. A sausage hurt.